Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the Chateau Lavande and the Spring Major Tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, make sure that you do hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. The ultimate tournament guide for Pro or Expert or Master or Expert and Master can be found on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I do suggest you to play with. Have in mind that these are all suggestions and you don't have to follow what I do suggest. Also, one thing that you need to have in mind is that I'm going aggressive when the opportunity arises, because I do feel that the Chateau Lavande offers very, very good opportunities if we just want to play that aggressive line. Obviously, I will be explaining what to do if you don't feel comfortable going with an aggressive line. I play with free-to-play balls, which is going to be balls that you can get from free chest or regular chest, or you from the golf pass for the free challenge as well, so have that in mind. If you have any questions, support at golfclashtommy.com is the best way to send in your question. You can also comment on the comment section below. But let's go to hole number one. Hole number one, and here we're going to go for green. I'm going to use the big topper here as I value topspin over power. If you do play with big boy drivers such as Thor Sammer level 6+, Apocalypse level 6+, or in that case Extrema level 9, go with those clubs instead to prevent us from having to push up anything with our drive. So you can see here I start with max topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. I stretch out to find the ball guideline to go close to the right side of the rough, basically where our opponent's logo is, there at the top. Adjust maximum distance +10. You can see there that I end up at +9. I push up 8 yards to +17. What I would recommend here to do though is to push up 11 yards with the big topper level 6. And that would give us to +20, because you can see we have loads of room there, and it's better to have the first bounce further up so we come into the rough with more speed. But even though we drop that far down, drop our first bounce such a so far back, we still get that ball to roll down exactly as we want to roll down the hill. And with the topspin that is possible. But so again, you value topspin over power here. And obviously in the guide we will make sure to give you the adjustment for various big topper, because it's not just possible to play this one with big topper level 6. You can play this shot with whatever level big topper you have. And once again, if you do have another driver that do have at least 7 bars of topspin, which is what I would say is the least we do need here, then you play with that driver. Otherwise you go big topper all day and every day. For hole number 2, I'm going to play a rough bump. The rough bump is by far the absolute best way to get an hole-in-one here on hole number 2. 2.8 bars of topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. You can see that I have the top left of the yellow ring by the rough line, ball guideline through the hole. Adjustment here now is going to be medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, power to ball settings, which is 1:1 plus 0.2. So here I shall adjust 6.4 rings for 6.2 miles per hour. But are we done? No, we need to play with a 12:01 pull angle here. Very important. 12:01 pull angle is the final piece to the puzzle, and we bounce right nicely into the rough here, and we roll right at pin for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 2. You may be wondering, can you play this shot by hitting a great left and a great right? Wouldn't that be a danger? No, it's not actually. You will still be fine, and you will get out as a worst case out on the fairway for a very simple wedge towards the pin. Sometimes we do need to take risk, and this is a risk that I do feel that we have to take to maximize our opportunities making an hole-in-one. For hole number 3, we are going to play in the center, and that might be very aggressive, but I'm going to explain why once we're taking this shot. Add 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left. I would like us to play with a Kingmaker to reduce the amount of overpower needed, but a Titan is definitely a ball that is possible to be played with. You can play with a special ball here as well, a power 4, a power 5 ball, which obviously will minimize the amount of overpower needed. Adjust maximum distance plus 20, and then we're going to apply overpower. Here I do go by a method, as if I adjust one ring into overpower, I do go with 2 rings of overpower, so I do add 1 extra ring of overpower based on the amount of rings I adjust into. You can see that we are bouncing into the rough to roll out, and that is the plan. We do want to bounce into the rough, roll out, and then we're going to have actually an opportunity towards the pin, even though it's going to be a tough one. If you do feel uncomfortable with this shot, or you may have very low level drivers as extra mile level 5, level 4 or something like that, then you need to lay up on the left to try to get yourself to the green area in 2, because if you lay up on the left, the albatross attempt is gone. You're not gonna make it. And that's why I wanted to present you with a yeah, sure, aggressive way to play, but in my opinion, the only way for us to get a somewhat a decent way of looking at the albatross. Now, I do play with the sniper here. Here we can definitely argue with the fact that we maybe wanted to play with a different wood club, that Cataclysm or a big dog or something like that instead, or maybe the hammerhead, depending on what level you have that one in. Here I'm using 3 bars of side spin to the right, 2 bars of top spin ball guideline through the hole, and the top spin will vary depending on how far you reach in with your drive. I do adjust maximum distance with a minus 10% elevation, which is 5 rings. So you can notice there that I do adjust into overpower, and here I'm going to have to add overpower as well. And I go with 2 rings of overpower because that is the amount I adjusted into. Bounce into the rough nicely, and as you can see there, we do have a lot of room in that rough. But once again, if you feel uncomfortable with this type of shot, then you can just land it nicely on the fairway on the left, use a little curl, and just lock in the eagle. But once again, hole number 3, I desperately wanted to provide you with a route where we can actually go for the albatross, even though it's a very aggressive one. So be careful and make sure that you make the correct call in what way to play based on your ability and your clubs. Hole number 4 is a tough par 3, mainly because we are going to have to play with a lot of elevation. So I'm going to play with a wind 3 ball here to make sure that I do minimize the wind as much as possible. Top of the blue ring on the left, top left and top right of the blue ring by the bunker edges. And from there I will be applying spin to go through the hole. There is a little glitchy spot there with the spin where it either shows to almost roll off the green and to, you know, just go towards the pin. You want to have the glitchy ball guideline where it goes through the hole pretty massively. So it's gonna be maximum distance with a 40% over adjustment here, power 3 ball settings, and then we're going to hit. Perfect. Nicely on the fairway there, getting it up here and roll with a nice speed right at pin for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 4. Let us take a look at the ball guideline once again, as I do think that is worth taking a look at again. So first and foremost, step 1, I find the position with the blue rings. Here, from there, I shall be applying the spin that is going to be needed. And you can see 2.8 bars of backspin, 1.6 bars of left spin, and there you can see the ball guideline going plenty through the hole. So maximum distance plus 40 power 3 ball settings here for hole number 4, which brought us a drop, but I not consider this one to be something that we drop all the time, because once again, adjusting for 40% elevation is going to be tough to get the rings correct all the time. But we have a nice line, and we're going to continue to kill it here on the Chateau Lavande. For hole number 5, we are going to use our big topper. And it doesn't matter what level you have the big topper in, the only thing that we do need from the big topper is its top spin. So I'm using the top of the white ring to be by the rough line, ball guideline just straight down the fairway, max top spin, 1 bar of side spin to the right, or like 0.8 bars of side spin to the right. Adjustment is max plus 10. And then I'm applying some curl right side of the ball just outside the adjustment ring to the right. Perfect ball. And we see the ball traveling away for a nice bounce over the rocks and landing nicely here on the fairway. The thing that I do want to achieve is that I do want to start in plus yardage now with our thorn, because once it's my turn and it shows a plus yardage, I can use that as a reference to try to dial in this shot. So we're gonna take a look at the second shot here now, and now we are going to play this shot without spin. You can see it starts at +2. Remember that. So we start at +2. And now I'm basically moving around, trying to find the best possible spot here and trying to mix with a little backspin, with a little side spin. It feels like I'm having like 2 minutes of time here for this shot, but I ended up having to stress in the end. So I remove all the spin eventually because I'm not happy with those type of measurements. So I go without spin and leaving the ball guideline just short of pin. Playing this one 88% slider with a 15% elevation, which is 4.7 rings. I would, however, though, want to reduce 1 decimal here. So 0.1 is what we do want to reduce here to get this ball to drop. So we should be playing this one 83% slider, 15% elevation for a drop here on hole number 5. Look how close we are. So we just need a little bit less. This is a finicky shot, so make sure that you are looking for consistent first bounce. That's the only thing that we're looking for there. I do know that we can play right side from the drive as well, but then it's going to require a max overpowered shot if we're not going to have any big boy drivers to try to get to the spot that I would really want to be in the end. So that's why I'm playing it just a secure and safe drive on the left, and then trying to use the plus yardage once it's my turn to get that ball to drop. So +2 equals 83%, 15%, 83% slider, 15% elevation here on hole number 5. For hole number 6, we're going to play a no movement here with our drive. What does that mean? It means that we shall not touch the target until it's time to adjust the ring. 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. We do adjust for a maximum distance +10. Then we turn the screen around and push up straight to max. Max overpower and half a ball of curl to the right. The curl here is mainly to stay away from the left side, because if we would be hitting a bad great left with no curl, we would most definitely go into the rough on the left, and that we just want to prevent. So we do get the ball to roll down very nicely, and now we do have a decision to make as always. We can either bounce on the fairway towards the pin, which is going to be a very slim chance for an albatross, or we try to go for an aggressive rough bump. Once again, as talked already on hole number 3, this is a shot that I would recommend to those of you that feel that you want to push it hard for an albatross, and those of you that feel uncomfortable for the rough bump here, then you shall just play it safe down towards the pin, with the knowledge of that you may not get the albatross that many times. So rough bump, it takes away the second bounce from play, and I'm going to leave the ball guideline approximately 1 green square short of pin. Important to have the yellow ring completely, into the rough, and we're going to play with an 1159 pull angle for the second shot. You may be wondering here, what's the adjustment to be? I play medium distance with a 30% over adjustment here in the example. We would need to have a little bit more, which means in that case, from the +11 yard mark, which was the yard mark we had by the fringe, we shall be playing that one in 55 to 58% slider instead. I'm saying 55 to 58 because it is untested, and that is something you're gonna have to work with yourself. If you're going to play on the fairway instead of and skipping the rough bump, you need to make sure to play it 40% elevation instead, which is the true elevation when bouncing on the fairway. Tough hole to get a drop on, but the best chance is the rough bump. But once again, if you don't feel comfortable with that, then you bounce on the fairway and take yourself a safe eagle with a much less chance for an albatross. Once again, we will be playing a rough bump, and this may look very risky, but honestly, it's not that risky when we think about it. I'm gonna explain more about that in the end. 3.8 bars of backspin, and we're looking now at the position of the yellow ring and the ball guide line. You can see here that I'm leaving the ball guide line approximately half a green square right of pin. And then I'm going to use the yellow ring here to be approximately just a little bit through hole. You can see the ball guideline to be just by the edge of the dark green square, to be half a green square right of pin. Adjustment here is maximum distance plus 25, and we are trying to have such as straight pull angle possible. Very important here now to not have any accidental overpower. If you have a tendency to do that, then you will have to pay more attention. We hit the rough nicely. A great left and a great right will still be fine, and we will clip the rough still with a great left and a great right, and we get that ball to drop for a lovely hole in one. Once again, we're playing an aggressive route here on a par 3, but once again, it is the absolute best way to play this hole, in my opinion. Playing it straight at the pin and playing it with that rough bump is miles better than other routes here on this course. You can play this shot with a sniper 9 and sniper 10, and have in mind that if you do play with a sniper level 8, then you should be able to play this shot with a power 4 ball to start with. You don't have to play it in the end, but start with a power 4 ball, find the position, then change to a power 3 ball after your adjustment. Just to have that said for hole number 7. For hole number 8, we're going to start off with the drive. Even though we have tailwind, we shall not try to go for green in one. I'm going to explain why once we're taking this shot. White ring to the left by the rough line, 3 bars of left spin, 3 bars of top spin. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 25 in this case, and that is because we're playing this one massively downhill. Playing with the rock level 8 or level 9, you need to back up, and you cannot play from max there. You need to start with the rock level 8 at plus 10 and the rock level 9 at plus 9. So we can see here we're getting it nicely down on the fairway, and we are basically exactly where we want to be. 321 yards, and now we're going to play a rough bump. This maybe looks really scary, but it's not. We're using a back fringe check by plus 4 to try to get our shot to be dialed in. I'm using 1 bar of side spin to the right and 1.2 bars of backspin. I like to leave this ball guideline a little bit short of pin. This may be a little bit too short in my opinion, just because we do not want to go, we cannot fall short in line, so we need to have that in mind. Now, I do adjust this one with a pretty heavy 1201, as you can see. I would like us to play with a straight pull angle, and if any side favored, it should be 1159. Once I'm done with my adjustment, I shall in that case play with a pullback. We pull back 1 ring after the adjustment so we don't go too far. And if it wouldn't be having that 1201 pull angle, we would have dropped this shot here. 10% elevation is what we're using. We're using the back fringe check there to get ourselves a nice little reference here on hole number 8. For hole number 9, we are going to play an aggressive drive down the center. Or it's not aggressive in the way of risking not missing the not hitting the fairway, but it's aggressive as we do have to go with overpower. Stretch out the max to see the bullseye to be centered on the next fairway to visualize the ball guideline on the final fairway. 6 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right, maximum distance plus 10 is what I'm using. Half a ball of curl to the right, max overpower, and try to hit. Perfect. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway, and now we want to gain as much distance possible because we are going to get a situation where we're gonna be playing either sniper from min club, or we're going to have to play a long iron from max club. So in this case, we are playing sniper from min club. Unfortunately, the result for this shot is not really what I wanted to, but that's why we do have some tweaks for you here instead. First and foremost, I do push up 5 rings from minimum distance, and the reason I do make sure that it is just 5 rings is because I do want to use the method called rings from min. Then I do go and aim right side of the pin, approximately 1 green square right of pin. In the example here, I do use an elevation which is 15% elevation. I would like us to crank that up to 25% elevation instead, because you will notice that this ball will fly and move itself way left there, in my opinion. We could also argue with the fact that we do want to have the ball guideline short of pin, because look at the result here once again. You sure we're not having that much speed that I would say that it's too hot, but it's gonna be very close towards it. Tough one here to drop, but definitely a makeable one. But make sure that you use the 25% elevation instead of the 15 like I'm doing in the video. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro Division for the Chateau Lavande for the Spring Major Tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure that you do get the Ultimate Tournament Guide for Pro or for Expert and Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description down below. Hit the like button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And thank you so much once again for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.